Hey, Harvester Ed, we're doing the quality counts review here.
Right.
There's weeds down in there. See the weeds down there?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Did you get that down? Write that down?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, how about over here, this dead lawn over here?
Oh, goodness.
That's not very good.
No.
Of course, you have some more
Good
weeds
there,
there.
yeah.
A lot of weeds over here.
Yep,
Big old tumbleweed over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've got some stumps on the trees over here.
Oh, boy.
And then over here, look at this tree.
Is this a client of yours, Bill?
No, this is a job my client's going to take over.
Good. I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why. Oh,
and you know what this is? This is called the famous goofy stake.
Yeah.
See, there's a stake inside just beating this tree to death.
And I bet this isn't even serving any purposes.
No,
Not even tied up.
I don't even think it needs a stake.
Doesn't even need
Look it down here. What's that? That's called tree guard. Well, it doesn't need to be guarded anymore. You need to get the weeds out of here. Write that down.
Yeah,
Write
okay.
that down.
Yep, that's
get the tree guard off
an extra.
Here.
We put this down as an extra.
Yeah, we got crossing branches in here that we need to get pruned off and all that. So get all that down.
They've used mulch in California?
No, we don't even know what mulch is. You know, so I think this could have had something to do with gross margin. What do you think?
I bet.
You know what? This is Head Harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast.
And Head Harvester Ed LaFlamme from the East Coast.
Our topic this week is gross margin. We just want to get a basic understanding of what gross margin is and how important it is to the success of your company.
Yeah, because harvesters are always, that's us, we're always talking about gross margin. So we would just want to make sure you understand, because there's some confusion as to exactly what gross margin is. So maybe Bill's going to help you understand that right now.
Yeah, you bet. So in harvester language and in real simple terms, you take your sales, your revenue, and subtract your direct cost, and that equals your gross margin or gross profit, whatever you want to call that. So sales minus direct cost. Your direct cost is the labor to perform the work, the boots on the ground that does the work, plus the payroll taxes you pay for that. That's out of your cash pocket. You're saying your payroll, not cash, but payroll checks.
Right.
You know, for payroll taxes and worker comp insurance. So labor plus burden plus worker comp insurance plus
Security.
materials.
Social Security.
And Social Security.
Right. That's all part of that
all
burden.
Payroll taxes.
Right. Include anything else?
That's the gist of what we look at for direct cost.
The bulk of it. Yeah. Exactly. So here's one way to look at it. It's the money left. You know, I always say cash to use an illustration here. It's kind of like that cash left after you do the job. If the job's $1,000 and it costs you $500 for materials and for labor and the burden that Bill just talked about, what's left is gross profit, which translates into gross margin percentage. That's the key. You've got to have that, okay? So maybe you can explain why it's so darn important to have a good gross margin, Bill.
Well, I'm glad you asked. And the target gross margin that we like to see is a minimum of 45%. So then you have some other costs. So you have direct costs, then we have what we call our overhead costs. So we got to go pay the overhead now. That would include all your gas and oil and equipment and supervision, your rental, your administration people, your sales people, your leadership, your owners. Mainly the big cost is salaries.
And profit.
Well, after you subtract those costs, what's left over is net profit.
Exactly.
So you have revenue minus your direct costs, gives you your gross margin. You subtract your overhead costs from your gross margin, that gives you your net profit.
Yeah.
We're saying overall company-wide, we'd like to shoot for 45% gross margin minimum.
And preferably 50 overall as a company. That would be a really good goal.
That
50%.
should help you get to around 10 to 12% net profit.
Exactly.
If you have 50% gross margin.
Yep. And one thing that you have to understand when you're going through this kind of thinking with gross margin is each department has a different gross margin, okay?
So like what, like snow maybe?
Oh yeah, snow is very high gross margin. That could be 65 to 70%.
Sure.
And even your lawn applications would be very high. Of course, when you go into the design build and you have a lot of materials, that would be lower, okay? So you have to understand, department by department, there's gross margin ranges. It's not a fixed science, okay? But there's ranges, and it depends, of course, on the size of the job, the location, and so many factors, you know?
Yeah,
you have
but
to think
just so
about
it all adds up, if you add the snow, the install, the maintenance, all that together, you want the gross margin all cumulative together to be 45 or 50%.
Right.
So some departments may be high, some may be low, but you've got to end up around 45. We'd like to see more like 50% gross margin.
Exactly.
Pretty critical number.
Yeah. So we consider, the harvesters consider the gross margins a key indicator. It's extremely important to do that because it really measures your estimating ability, your pricing, and your efficiency. Okay, because those three things together make up the direct cost, which results in a healthy gross margin. If any of those are off, you're gonna lose money, okay? You don't have enough gross margin to cover your overhead. It's as simple as that. So we hopefully we've kind of cleared up exactly what gross margin is. What do you think?
Yeah,
Bill?
pretty doggone important. Now,
Yeah.
it was one of the very first things that we put in the Harvest Way Academy. In fact, it was the first lesson we put in the academy.
Yeah.
Called Get Gross, Getting More Gross Margin.
Right.
So we put that first, and we believe if you follow the directions within the academy, you can pick up 3 to 5 points on your gross margin.
Yep.
Not too bad, huh?
No, it translates into thousands of dollars.
So don't forget, gross margin's a good thing. This is Head Harvester Bill Arman.
And Head Harvester Ed LaFlamme.
Now go out there and harvest your potential with more gross margin.